What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Deborah Rao YouTube channel. We're back with the Dynasty startup. So what we've been doing is going out there and crowdsourcing some Dynasty startups. This one has the rookies included. So we're going to be seeing where those rookies are going. I'm going to be highlighting that, my favorite values, some questionable picks there. We're going to be looking at the narratives, where the running backs going, where the wide receivers going, where's the value, and in full big boards and team breakdowns. We're going to be looking at some teams that I like. I like their builds. You can also see how trades have kind of developed in the league. And just overall, like if you're in a startup, where are the values at right now? So we're going to be diving into that. We're going to be looking at these Dynasty startups. It is a lot of fun right now. Dynasty's in full go right now because everybody's loving these rookie picks and they've been included in this area. So we're going to start with rounds 1 through 3 and then kind of dive into it. So what do we got in rounds 1 through 3? So what you're going to see, obviously, quarterbacks going off the board early. Now, my favorite pick, as you kind of look at where everybody is going there, is Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson going at 304, I think is a good value. I think, looking at the other wide receivers, Jefferson, Chase, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, right? Marvin Harrison Jr., but then Garrett Wilson just sitting there. A lot of fun value right there at wide receiver 8. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, we're excited about that pick again, right? Like we'd be having a lot of fun with that pick there. And especially if, he didn't get, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't get hurt, I think Garrett Wilson definitely breaks out there. The other one, biggest value change, Dak Prescott going QB 17 range, and in Tua right there, QB 18. When you're looking at that, because those rookies are now included, right? We have Jaden Daniels, we got Drake May in there, Caleb Williams. So they're pushing some of these values down. And if Dak's getting valued at that, he might not be a bad go out there and buy him in terms of that, that QB2 with some upside. I mean, he was playing MVP style. And again, I'm a Dallas fan. Not, obviously didn't finish strong, but I love the fact that, you could get him at maybe QB 18 value, right? Like QB 17, depending on where your startup's at. I think that's a great area here there. And he got the stack with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. Other things to note, heavy tight end premium, right? Laporta McBride. So again, we've talked about that on the Dynasty show I do with Leo. If you haven't checked that out, it's on the live shows. Lean into those settings. Heavy tight end premium in this one, 1.75, I believe. Laporta McBride, stacking those tight ends and going that positional advantage early. A lot of fun there, right? Then you've got Kincaid, Bowers coming in there. So a lot of fun in these little areas. You kind of see how that first 3 rounds plays out. A little different than what we seen some Dynasty, startups look like, but that's why I show you guys these. I think they're a lot of fun, especially because these are real money leagues. This is leagues that, people are spending their hard-earned cash on. I think it's going to be a little interesting to see how that stuff plays out. Now, as far as the rookies taken, so to see where kind of they're going, just to give you an idea, overalls of what you'll see there. Caleb Williams, QB8. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver 4. Jaden Daniels, QB 11. Drake May, QB 12. Brock Bowers, tight end 4. And Malik Neighbors, wide receiver 9. So you're seeing that. Now, the one thing to note as well, I was talking to Bob Harris about this from Football Guys, you used to be able to get values at the wide receiver position for the rookies. You're kind of getting them at their ceiling right now. Harrison, ceiling. Neighbors, probably wide receiver 9 is a ceiling play right there, unless you think Neighbors can be a top 5 guy, especially before you know where they're at. What if Neighbors goes to Tennessee? What if Neighbors goes to these areas? So you are definitely taking these wide receivers at their ceiling, where before, I remember getting Jamar Chase in round 5 of startups, when Jamar Chase was coming out. I know he missed his last year of college. He opted out because of COVID, but still a value, right? You're not getting that anymore. So you better hope you hit and you understand that your prospects are there, right? Now, when you're looking at rounds 4 through 6, let's take a look at what we see here. So when you look at overall, you're getting a lot of the veterans in this range here. This is where you're going to start seeing those running backs, right? We saw Bijan, Gibbs, Hall, those guys. Then, my favorite pick, Jonathan Taylor at the 411, I think is a hell of a value in terms of like that running back position. Taylor kind of falls in that running back, those top 5 guys I'm comfortable with, even McCaffrey, and getting them after Devon Chan, I think is a good value. I like that. Now, we're going to look at the build there, but if he's your running back 1 in the 4th round, I think that's a heck of a way to build, right? If you're going to go anchor running back or even maybe just, zero running back and modify where you're not waiting to like rounds 9, 10, 11, Jonathan Taylor is fun pick in that range because you're looking at probably 2 years health withstanding of really good production there. Now, other guys in that range, you can see all those wide receivers. There's a big cluster of wide receivers here, from Olave all the way really to T. Higgins, maybe even Brian Thomas. If you believe that Brian Thomas, the rookie at LSU, is going to be really good. A lot of guys think everybody in that range could be maybe a wide receiver 7. like overall, right? Like wide receiver 7 to like 22 or 23. Like there's a really cluster there, right? So it's really just pick your poison there. What do you think the value is going to be? You see the rookies going off the board there, Dunze and Franklin and those guys early. This is where that running back kind of dead zone is with Kyron Williams going at the 604 range. Cole Kmet in the 6th round. That's a pretty big value change. The one guy I wanted to point out, and I know he's a rookie, and I'm kind of highlighting those guys on another slide, essentially. But JJ McCarthy, right? So JJ came in, and a lot of people didn't think he was going to be. They think he's a bust. There's still some think he's going to be a bust there, but him coming into that range in the 6th round. Probably a big value change, right? When I looked at like where he was going beforehand, when they thought he was coming out like 12th, 13th round, now he's getting 1st round buzz, possibly the Vikings, the other areas there. Definitely a big value change. So now, if you follow this channel and you play in college fantasy leagues or Devy leagues, if you have JJ there and he's getting valued as a 6th round pick, this might be time to pivot off of him, right? Look at these guys around him, going around him, and kind of that area. Then you have Jatavian Sanders there at the 608 as well. Just want to highlight him in premium. Now, rookies taken plus Jatavian Sanders. Roma Dunze, wide receiver 18. Troy Franklin, wide receiver 19. JJ QB 22. And then Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver 28. So you're looking at the wide receivers. Then you have JJ there, that QB 22 mark. And then you obviously have Jatavian there as well. So interesting kind of value there. Now, let's look at round 7 through 9 and what we got here. My favorite pick, just to kind of go off the top, Javonte Williams. I've never been a Javonte stan. Getting Javonte, though, late, like if you're looking for that late round guy that possibly could have you that 0 running back kind of target, 9th round Javonte Williams, I'll take that. I don't mind rolling the dice on that 9th round guy when you're looking at what's going around him, right? Swift, Braylon Allen, Ramondre, Trey Benson, these rookies kind of area. If you're looking for that 0 running back, I think Javonte Williams might be that guy now. This is the year maybe you buy into that because the value is there, right? Biggest value change, Terry McLaurin, 9th round. Like, Scary Terry is always kind of going from that 5 to 7 round range. Now he's definitely dipping into that 9th round. So definitely a big value change there. Getting a quarterback upgrade. Now, do you believe in, Cliff Kingsbury's offense? I think that's the question there. Other areas just to note, tight ends, Michael Mayer going at 708, I think could be a value, especially if Jatavian Sanders is going earlier than that. Evan Ingram, Freiermuth, Goddard, you there. Spears, the running back. So this is kind of that like pick your poison running backs area. You're going to go a little older with Josh Jacobs and Javonte and Swift with Barkley in that range too, or you're going to wait to the 9th round and really take those running backs from that rookie class, right? And this is where the first running backs are off the board. Braylon Allen was running back 1 off the board in this case, and then Trey Benson running back 2. So for your rookie running backs, this is where you're looking at the values for them. Rookies also taken. Keon Coleman is sitting there. Xavier Worthy, really good value at wide receiver 36. Braylon Allen and then Trey Benson. And those are your first 2 running backs. So the other thing to note too, when you're looking at like the discrepancy between wide receivers taken and running backs taken, wide receiver 36 right there in the 8th round, running back 18 in the 9th round. There is a drastic shift into how dynasty managers are drafting this offseason. And it was kind of like this last year, but this is more drastic. I think the running back position is completely devalued as we speak, especially with, locked in dynasty managers. These are locked in dynasty managers that we're seeing drafted. So that's also a narrative of something to know if you're going to go jump in one of these drafts. And then rounds 10 through 12, when you're looking at it, a lot of all of these, like, upside play. Jameson Williams is sitting out there. A.D. Mitchell, rookie out of Texas. Josh Downs. Some people really believe in Josh Downs there. Then you get some of those older picks, Allen, those guys. And again, one of my favorite picks, Brian Robinson. I know it's a new system, but again, if you're going 0 running back, Brian Robinson is another great spot. There's a lot of good running backs. I think the narrative you should look here, there's a lot of 0 running back targets here. Brian Robinson, Jaylen Warren. I know Najee Harris right after him. Like, hey, you pick your poison there. Which one are you going to go after? Tony Pollard may not be at Dallas, it kind of depends on that contract. Monty, Aaron Jones, Chubb, those guys could be fun 0 running back targets. And then Jonathan Brooks sitting there at the 208, or 1008, excuse me. These are guys that you can maybe go grab right now. Biggest value change, Russell Wilson, 12th round. I think New England could be a spot for Russell Wilson if they decide not to go quarterback in the draft, if they decide to go tackle or possibly move back. So these are kind of those areas. You see the quarterbacks definitely, Carr, Rodgers, Wilson, these older quarterbacks, definitely value changes from that perspective. The rookies taken in this range, A.D. Mitchell, wide receiver 43. Ladd McConkey, wide receiver 46. Jonathan Brooks, running back 23. Michael Penix Jr., QB 29. Bo Nix, QB 31. Roman Wilson, wide receiver 50. Bucky Irving, 25. Blake Corum, 26. And Xavier Leggett, wide receiver 54. Look at the discrepancy there, right? Look at how far that is. Roman Wilson's wide receiver 50. Bucky Irving's running back 25 in that same 11th round. I think that is just crazy when we think of like just how people are drafting right now. Now, let's look at the final outlook. We're going to kind of dive into like the whole draft board here. This is through 15 rounds. Now, we didn't go all the way through 15, but this is a good time to stop the video, look at it, kind of see how like they dived in there, especially with those rookies from 15 on. And then I also have all the way to 20 at the end of this video, so you can really pause it and kind of look at it. Now, I do want to go through some team builds that I really enjoy, that I really liked. I want to show you guys this one when we talk about that tight end premium team build. So you got Laporta McBride, then you get Tua, Bryce, and Mayfield as the quarterbacks in Superflex. I think that's fine. I think Tua has that obviously, high-end QB2 / low-end QB1. If he's healthy in that offense, he looks really good. Bryce could definitely bounce back. Then you have Mayfield, who looked like a solid top 12 quarterback, right? He could kind of step in there. Then we built through the wide receiver position as well, like Olave, Metcalf, very solid. Debo, don't necessarily love that pick. I would have probably maybe got Mike Evans there, Xavier Worthy, a little younger. Josh Downs. Then he went 0 running back, right? So I just want to show you like a different build that I kind of enjoyed. Mixon, Robinson, Harris, Estime kind of went that route. Moved around a little bit, got those DK Metcalf, but this just shows you like use that scoring advantage too. Heavy tight end premium. All right, I'll just lock up that position there. Now, when you look at this next pick, again, I want to show you kind of 0 running back build because it's pretty common out there. You have Burrow and then Jaden Daniels, right? Kind of taking an upside there with Daniels. Then you get Pittman and London and Pickens as your kind of 3 wide receivers. You mix in a little bit of veterans, Adams and Evans, and then, hey, get Roman Wilson and Keon Coleman. Geno Smith is your QB3, and then you can take a shot at Warren and Charbonnet, right? If Kenneth Walker goes down, you have running back 1 possible with Charbonnet there just because of volume. Then you have Warren there, who I think is going to be very, very good in Arthur Smith's offense. This was a fun build, again, just to kind of show you that 0 running back build. And then the next one I'll show you again is kind of maybe, wait on that second quarterback. What does that look like? So Lamb, Nakua, Waddle, great wide receiver 3. I mean, and Higgins. Those 4 guys are excellent there with Flowers there. Then you get Dak and Hawkinson. Again, I think the Hawkinson injury concerns me a little bit, but I think, when you're looking at who he gets for tight end 2, we'll pop that up here on the screen. Not a bad play there. I like the Flowers play. McLaurin and Kirk are very good values. I love Christian Kirk as a value. Then if Spears hits his ceiling, I think this team really revolves around Spears. If they don't address that running back kind of position in the draft, if Spears is their guy moving forward out there in Tennessee, love that. I like that pick there. Pollard and Irving, he does kind of go with Daniel Jones. I may have went to a different kind of area there. I might have went Derek Carr or possibly just punted the QB position at that point. Maybe went Jonathan Brooks, target another running back in that range. Maybe Monty, maybe went tight end. Maybe would have got, one of these tight ends that were still there that I like, Musgrave, those type of guys, but not a bad play here. And I just wanted to highlight some different builds there. Not a ton of running back heavy builds. And I think that is something to note too when you're looking overall at this draft board of what you have. Now, here are all the picks. I know you're going to have to probably zoom in a little bit and kind of look at it, but I wanted to give you as many picks as I can. This is through 24 rounds, so you can kind of see how they built out their team, but you can also just see kind of where the value is going. Where's that ADP at, right? On Twitter today, I talked about guys that I kind of like at that ADP range, like Jackson Smith-Njigba to me is a great buy out there. Another one, Rashid Shaheed is another guy out there that you could definitely buy. Derrick Henry in the 14th round is some fun targets. There's some fun veteran targets at the running back position late. Eckler in the 14th round, right? Guys that maybe this year could really hold that value. So this is just to show you kind of where that overall board is at. So you can just see it, right? Okay, who is the guys that I like? Who are some players that I can go find out there in those 24 rounds? So this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you hopping on here. This is a real startup worth real money. That's the way we kind of like to do in the channel, so I can highlight some guys there, some values, some rookies, where they're going. So appreciate you guys. As always, hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know in the comments what you think of this mock, or excuse me, not a mock, startup for you. And who do you think won this startup? What kind of build did you like there? What were some reaches for you? Let's communicate. Let's talk in the comments.